So
There you go.
it
I see
is, here we are. And
it.
so we're here officially now, I think. And so I'm Laura Jane, or LJ, and this is the Tune You Show, as I like to call it. And I'm here with another person who I'm so thrilled to be here with you, Debbie. And thank you for being up for this.
I'm thrilled to be here with you. Like, I love how you just invite so many people into your space to share with others, and you're so open to whatever that may be. Like, but just being willing to just invite so many amazing people into your space and then share that with everyone else. I just think it's amazing. And I'm grateful for you.
Well, thank you for being up for the adventure. So, so
Love
you
adventures.
are Debbie Schumann Espinosa, and you're coming to us today from somewhere in LA. True. Although getting
LA is
ready,
a good place to say.
Yeah,
no one will know the little tiny town.
And getting ready to head to Hawaii, you were just informing me, which is so smart. Going to work with one of your favorite teachers.
Yeah, with one of my mentors, and just go and do a deep dive into the divine and into, my superpowers and everyone else's superpowers that they are, and just, it's going to be just so much love and energy, and I'm just so excited. That connection with the divine when I'm in it, which I'm in it a lot usually, but when you're in a place with so many other people who are in that same energy, it's just off the charts incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like we're learning how important it is, like who we're surrounding ourselves with. So, yeah, and I'm so thankful that you're here to talk about this topic of facing fear. And yeah, I was thinking about what wording to use, and my friend Stacy helped me see that the word facing I liked, because it feels like it's implying a lot, and inviting, some maybe new ideas. But yeah, so I'm just kind of having fun just turning it over to someone like you and saying, what are your latest thoughts on fear and how we should be handling such things in our lives, which I know is a really big question. But whatever is coming through.
What's coming through to me right now is the fear that everyone is having that the world is going to end. Like,
yeah,
it's such a major energy that is consuming so many people right now, and everybody is holding on so tight to their beliefs and their position, I guess, because of fear, right? Yes. And it's with all the wars going on and all the things going on, it's like everybody's trying to stay so safe. And when I think of fear, I think of not knowing your divine, right? And that you're not going to blow up if the world blows up, right? Like, we're still going to go on. We're still going to be here. We're still going to have that connection. We are divine. We're not going to go anywhere. And it's so many people that don't know that, right? That don't trust in the universe or God or whatever their spiritual higher being is, right? They don't trust that they're going to be okay soul-wise, right? Because whatever happens with this human here, I mean, we're all here temporarily anyway, right? So we're all going to die. We're all going to leave here. It's going to happen. So that fear is that not trusting and knowing that you're going to be okay when that happens.
Yes. Wow.
That's what just came through.
I think it, and I love it. So actually delightfully surprising that I always think of you as someone who just is bringing such a spiritual understanding and just like a strong sense of connection. And I love that you actually also just brought this like very real wisdom that I think that is underneath what's going on such a big level, is this deep
Yeah.
fear of all of us of that the world is going to end, and like we're facing our mortality in a new way,
In a new
right?
way.
And then that's like that's where we're getting put in this position of like, what do we really think we are, and what do we think, and yeah, this, are we immortal? And so yeah, but that's what's different about these times. I think more than ever, more of us than ever are deeply afraid that the world,
And
whatever that
nobody's
means,
facing
the
that
world's going
fear.
to end or change, or something
Mhm.
terrible is going on here, right?
Mhm.
Oh, ooh,
Yeah, take a breath on that one. Like,
yeah, right.
big.
And to be like, ooh, and what if that is even true, right? To like, how could we face that fear
Right.
realistically and practically, but also spiritually, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it's the problem is that nobody is facing that fear, right? They're disguising it as other things.
Yeah, right. As
They're,
anger, as separation, like you're saying, like that's a lot of what the conflict is about, is coming from everybody's fear about what's going to happen with this world,
yeah,
right?
and
And
that
getting so rooted
they're
in our
not knowing they're
positions.
whole in one.
Yeah, but not really knowing that's where it's coming from, or acknowledging that fear. Go on, go on. Yeah.
Right. And so a lot of people are taking these positions, and that's how they're facing their fear. Right. So they're not,
they're almost disguising it though,
right?
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
Instead of
Halloween
really
themed.
like taking a look internally and saying, okay, what's going on here? Why am I so angry? Why am I so freaked out about whatever this is? Or why am I so emotional? Or, whatever is going on in their field? They're taking a stance on whatever it is that they're taking a stance on, and claiming that's how they're facing that fear. Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm right. So or my way is the way, or this is how we have to do it, instead of opening and letting that flow of, okay, well, what is going on? Right. And I think the biggest key in facing your fear is being able to acknowledge it and look at it and really know where it's coming from. Because not only is it a spiritual separation, but it's also a mind trick. Right? So as we're growing up, we have all these like traumatic places or things that happen, or where we're afraid, where an emotion arises in us and our brain goes, oh, that's fear. Right? And it clicks the two together. The brain does. And so when something is happening and that emotion arises in us, the brain automatically goes, that's fear. I know what that is. I know how to handle this. But that's just a story. That's not real. An emotion is just an emotion, right? That can be breathed through. It's the story that we're telling ourselves. The world is going to end. I'm not safe. Like, oh my God, we're at war. Oh my God, they're taking over, or whatever. Those stories are what triggers all of the not facing the fear. So it's fear's kind of complicated.
Right. But that's right? I think that's such an important point, that it's
actually easy.
Always coming from the stories that we're telling ourselves about our lives and ourselves and the truth of existence, even.
Yeah. And if you are in separation and you don't know how divine and how whole you are, of course those stories are going to take over, right? Because the ego is going to be like, no, you need to protect yourself. No, you are in danger. No, you're like, grab on to whatever it is and project that fear, right?
Yeah.
I want everybody else to be in fear with me because something's going on. I'm afraid, and I want you to be afraid with me, or to help me feel safe. Like, so there's the two components. So you're talking to and you're latching onto the people who have the same fear as you, so they can make you feel safe in your position. And then the other people are the ones who you're like, you're causing this fear. Right? So it's a constant battle in between those two energies, I guess you could say, instead of coming to your own energy and taking a breath and what am I afraid of? Like, what am I afraid of? If the world ends or we get bombed by Russia or whatever it is, right? Or if even it's the fear of wanting to step out and do something. Like, you're not one who's afraid of those things, but there's a lot of people who are. Like public speaking, I'm not afraid to do those things, but there's a lot of people who are. And it's that noticing, okay, what is that trigger within me? What is the story I'm telling myself? Right? And what's really happening? So sometimes when I'm afraid and I want to face my fear, I breathe, right? And I look at what it is and in myself. And then it's like, okay, what is the story I'm telling myself? Okay, everybody's going to laugh at you, or you're too big, or nobody thinks, whatever those stories are. And it's like, okay, no, let's really look at it. Is that true? No, the truth is I'm divine. I have a connection. What's coming through me, it's supposed to come through me, right? And it's for somebody. It's not my business, really, who it's for or what, I don't know, right? So in this moment, so say I'm getting ready to step out on stage and I have a fear of that. It's like, okay, really, I'm afraid people are going to look at me or think, whatever those fears are. And it's like, no, what's really happening is I'm just going to go out on stage and I'm going to talk. It's that simple. Like, some people are going to like it. Some people aren't going to like it. I'm just going to do me and talk. Okay, that's what's really happening. So what is there to fear about talking? I talk all the time, right? I talk to my friends. I talk to my parents. I talk to my kids. I mean, I talk all the time. I'm just talking. So what is this? Like, it's really looking at what is that story that I've been telling myself, that all this stuff. And it's like, no, I'm just talking. Like, that's the truth about it. It's like looking at the truth of what's actually happening. So that's kind of how I look at facing it, is really coming back to that connection within and realizing what the story is.
Yes, I love it. I feel like what you are bringing through, and I feel like this is just part of what you bring through with your work, is from this like strong sense of spiritual connection, we can do this very practical, grounded, like inner work, even with our psychology, right? And just like, but it is coming from that connection that, so it's not just trying to do the inner work or the changing of the mindset from a place of separation. Like, I feel like that's the strength of what you're helping bring forth, is just like when you're coming from that spiritual connection and that spiritual understanding, and then going into it, the inner work and the mindset, and that it's still our psychology, it really changes it, right? Because then you know where you're coming from, and that's what you're choosing to form your beliefs and thoughts around. You're like, what's the story I'm going to tell? Because if I'm from a connected place, what's the story I'm going to tell about this, right?
What, and also it can be like, if you have that connection and you're with your connection and you're with you, like you're connected to you.
Right. Yes.
It's
like that it's not even something outside of you, that it is in you.
Yeah. It's like, okay, what do I choose to do and be and feel in this moment? Like, you can make that choice. Right?
What a concept. And to do that from a spiritual understanding, like, if I am God, right, then what am I choosing? What story am I telling from there? Right.
Right. And from God's infinite menu, how do I choose to feel right now? Do I choose to feel fear? Do I choose to feel scared? Am I choosing? No, that's an automatic, right? That's an automatic response. It's an automatic trigger. It's automatically coming up. So let me take a breath. And from, okay, what do I choose? I choose to be in love and light and, know that I'm okay and that I am divine and that I'm going to be okay no matter what. So fear, fuck you. Right?
Right. When you're rooted in that understanding and that awareness and that way of being and sense of self.
With you, right?
Yeah. I love it so much that it's like from this place of spirituality, you can choose how you're going to respond and what story you're going to tell. But but it's from the sense of connection, from the realization of like who you are. And then from there, what choice are you going to make and what story are you going to tell?
If you think you're choosing when you're not connected, it's just another automatic, right?
So like unconscious too, right?
Yeah.
Is that kind of what
just
automatic
an ego trick, right? It's like, no, I'm going to choose not to be afraid. But, or, okay, I'm not afraid. Like, can you see the difference in that? Like, it's huge, right? You're just trying to trick you're trying to trick the mind into saying you're not afraid, when you can really experience not being afraid when you are connected to you and your breath and your, really, it just, take a breath and, okay, what do I choose in this moment? Like, really, not, okay, what am I going to choose? Okay, I'm not going to be afraid. Okay, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Right?
It's so true. And I feel like it's hilarious, but it's totally what a lot of us, including me, have been doing, when we're not feeling as connected and we're just kind of forgetting that part about ourselves in life, and then trying to do that inner work, or that, okay, I'm not going to be afraid. Or it's a lot more empty and just
it doesn't
a lot more
connect with your being.
Probably.
It doesn't connect with your being and your mind. So it's just, you don't even hear it. It's like, okay, I'm not going to be afraid. Okay, well, no. But if you can like be in you, what am I going to choose right here? Like, what do I choose from this infinite amount of choosing I can choose right now? Like, because everything's infinite, right? I'm going to choose to be calm. It's not, I'm not going to choose fear, right? It's not, I'm going to choose not to be afraid.
Yeah.
It's, I'm going to choose calm and peace and love and joy. And that's what you're choosing, because that's your connection and that's who you really are. So you're choosing to be yourself, really. And the fear dissipates.
I love that. And I can see what you mean by yourself, as like, if yourself is more like spirit, God, infinite, then that energy feels like calm, peace. Yeah. And I love that. I think someone like you helps us remember that's why, to make it about like our spiritual practices, or the thing that help us get back in that consciousness. Because when we're coming from there, that's where the real strength is, right? For everything.
And it's like, you don't have to be as spiritual as me to have that connection, right? It can just be like a breath can get you connected back to your body.
Yes, but to realize that's why you're doing it. Like, you're using your breath to reconnect you with your spiritual feelings of connection and understanding. Ideally, and peace,
and
eventually.
When you're coming from a place of peace and calm and grounding, those are the real choices that we can make. That's your real you, right? That's who we are truly, is that calm, grounding, peaceful presence of love, right? So if you're coming from the, oh my God, that's not really you. That's your ego. That's your automatic. That's all of those things that are taking over. So it's just really like, you don't have to go into full meditation, and you don't have to do like, all of these other things. It's really, okay, let's just take a breath and pause and stop that hectic energy flow and come back to my body. And if I am feeling fear, okay, let me breathe through that fear, right? Let me face that fear that way. Let me just breathe through it, notice it, be aware of it. Okay, I'm afraid. What am I afraid of? Okay, I'm afraid that they're going to laugh at me. Okay, is that true? Might be. And what is the worst thing that can happen if that happens? My feelings get hurt. Okay, well, a feeling is just a feeling and it goes away in 2 seconds. So, you know what I mean? A feeling is not you. It's not harmful. It's not, it's like, really just connect back with facing that fear and breathing through it and looking at it. Like, just looking at it, And honestly,
from
from a
this,
calm, peaceful place,
yes,
not from your true heart center, not from
yes,
the.
yes. I think that's the thing that is like the clarification that I feel like I'm getting so much from talking to you today is that when we're coming from that more connected place, that's what's gonna, and then choosing what we believe from there. And
Mhm.
so it really is about like an integration of like, if we love that spirituality and we really want to root into that, then yeah, what are we choosing to believe from there? And what are we choosing to think from there? And how are we responding to our fear from there? Right. And to
Right.
understand that things like taking a breath and calming down can be in order to reconnect spiritually, right? Not just
Yeah.
because it helps our physiology,
Right.
but
Right.
also
Which it
because
does. Right.
it helps reconnect us with that more spiritual um, understanding and energy, right? And then coming from there is just so much different and better. We would vote.
And then you can, and then facing it from there and breathing through it
Yes,
and looking
right.
at it and just being
Mm,
okay with the fact that you're human, you're gonna have feelings and you're
yes.
gonna be afraid, and those
Mm,
things are gonna come up. But how do you deal with them? Right? How do we face them? Do we get crazy and lash out and be angry and do those things, or do we really choose where we're coming from and how we are going to face it?
yes, right. And I love it that when we are coming from a more spiritually connected feeling place, just that awareness, right? Because it's always true, but it's just our awareness of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, that's just going to shift it all. So it just really
Yeah.
does like
Yeah.
prove the case for, if we're into that, really letting that be a big, strong part of our lifestyle, right? It's just
Yeah.
helping ourselves keep feeling more spiritually connected, whatever that means for us, so that we
Right.
can be coming at life from that. And even things like our fears about the end of the world, right? Which can feel like there's real
There's a
reason to feel
lot of that
that,
energy, a
that we
lot of
can
that fear.
come at that from, how will we come at that from a more spiritually connected feeling place, right? Both with
Mhm.
ourselves and others and the
Mhm.
universe. So
Mhm.
yeah, it really
I
strengthens
mean,
it,
most people
right?
have some sort of spiritual practice, right?
Right.
If it's God, if it's the universe, if it's whatever it is, there is some way that you are, connected to something greater than yourself. Most
Right.
people have that.
Yeah.
And it's just really the place when you're in, say, if you're at church or if you're whatever, it's that feeling coming from that place to
Yeah.
face the fear.
Yeah. Just,
Yeah.
feeling more connected, right? And
Yeah.
it's so, I love that. It's very empowering. So
Yeah, good. I'm
well,
glad.
gosh, I knew we would have no problem filling 30
I
minutes, but
know.
is
I could go on
well,
for another 30 minutes, but I know you have.
I know, right? And I think I want to do more of this with you. So
Yeah, I would
but
love
is there
to.
anything else that you would want to say to last words for this short moment on fear? And then I'll definitely want you to share how people can follow you and anything you want us to know about.
Fear is just a feeling.
Mm.
Fear is something that your mind has taught you was bad.
Mm.
It's not necessarily a bad thing, because it is an opportunity for us to go in and be aware of what it is that's happening within us.
Mm.
So I don't look at fear as
Wow.
bad. But it is just a feeling, right? And it's not something that's going to reach out and hurt you. It is an opportunity to look within and find the reason why you're being triggered by fear,
Oh my
and heal
gosh, yes.
those places. So yeah, I think it's just face it in a way that is beneficial to you,
Oh.
not that is scattered crazy and automatic.
Yes, and you're helping me see it's a chance for more. It's even an invitation to more feelings of spiritual connection if we choose to look at it and be curious and see what's behind it, and then kind of rewire. It really is an invitation and not something
It's an
to run away
invitation.
from, right?
Yeah.
Whoa, gosh,
Yeah.
that's so good.
It's an
for me.
invitation, not a deterrent, right?
Right, which I guess
Yeah.
that we hear that with like the cave you fear entering holds the treasure you see and all that, we hear it, but it's like
Right.
it's like wow, it's oh
Yeah.
man, it gets me
Yeah.
excited to like see it as like a practice in my life. Like,
Yeah.
ooh, let's get excited about fear.
And if you can
How
come
it's
at
gonna
it
help
that
me
way,
reconnect.
really, it's
That would be nice. I'd really
yeah,
prefer that versus all the
yeah.
other ways I probably did.
I get to look at this fear,
Right, and it's going to help
right?
me get stronger in my understanding of myself and my connection. So
Yeah.
well, thank you so much. And
Oh, thank you.
yes, please tell us how we can what's the best ways to follow you these days and anything you want us to know about that you have
On
available
Instagram, it's theworthinesswarrior.com, and Facebook, it's Debbie Schumann Espinoza. Or yeah, no, it's all I'm changing it all to Debbie Schumann Espinoza.
Okay, yeah.
So that's basically where you can find me on everything. Yeah.
Great. And we've got at
Yeah.
least a couple books out there and
I
yeah,
do. I have
awesome.
2
Even
books.
like courses and things that are available, right? So
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. And I'll
okay.
be probably putting another one out shortly after I get back from Hawaii. So
I bet. Holy
yeah.
crap. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Debbie. I love
Oh,
you.
thank
and
you,
I
LJ.
appreciate
Mwah.
it.
I love you.
And yeah, talk soon.
All right.
Okay. And I
Bye.
think you
Thank
can
you.
just exit off as you want. And
Okay.
then hopefully Janet will be here soon. um, okay. Let's see. So that was amazing, right? With Debbie. And she is someone who has an incredible story of transformation herself. So I always get like supercharged talking to Debbie. We met in masterminds together back in the day. Well, let's see. Next, I have my friend Janet Zinn coming on to do a little more talking about facing fear. But I sure find I'm like, wow, having such great revelations and realizations. And I love that each person that's come on has totally brought up new things for me, anyways. And so if you've been watching this, I hope that you're feeling the shifts as well and just ways we can look at our fear and how we can come at it with our self-care and our spirituality, how much that helps. So yeah, good stuff and pretty amazing. Well, I think what I'm going to do is close up and then we'll come back new with Janet. So thanks for being here and go check out Debbie to get more of her goodness and hope you're well out there.